What would you do for love? The man I love was trying to topple a dictator, and then he went to jail for it. So I did what any loyal wife would do. I ran in his place. I have no interest in politics. My dream is just to be a good mother and a great wife. And now I'm leading a revolution against Europe's last dictator. My name is Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya and I'm from Belarus. We are run by a dictator, Alexander Lukashenko. He's an oppressive tyrant who has been in power for 26 years.
Europe's closest equivalent to North Korea.
Accused of human rights abuses, stifling dissent, and running sham elections.
A lot of people who disagree with him just disappeared.
The president had ordered his assassination. DW News has spoken with a man who says that he was a member of the death squads.
When COVID came, he asked, "Do you see this COVID around?" I don't see it, so it doesn't exist.
Belarus has one of Europe's highest per capita infection rates.
Thousands of people died because of it.
И надо не только руки мыть, но, наверное, и в день 40-50 грамм в пересчете на чистый спирт травить этот вирус.
Our president doesn't respect his people at all. My husband went around the country just talking to usual people, asking how they were living.
Невыносимо жизнь становится. Никто не может ничего не купить, ни мебель, никакой зарплаты.
He was touched by ordinary people who didn't have good conditions for working.
400 людей покончило жизнь самоубийством. Это нет хорошей жизни, они идут на веревку.
And it became so important for him.
Почему это происходит? Почему чиновники делают каким лучше, а не как лучше для людей?
He was showing all these videos on his YouTube channel, Country for Life. His subscribers started to ask him to run for presidency because he knew all the problems from inside.
Я, Сергей Тихановский, белорусский предприниматель и блогер, заявляю о своем намерении участвовать в президентской кампании в качестве кандидата в президенты.
I was sitting at home with my children and I was worrying about him. Authorities knew that he will be a serious opponent for Mr. Lukashenko and he was jailed. So I collected documents for myself and brought these documents to Election Commission. At that moment, I didn't think about country. Maybe it sounds, wrong, but at that moment, I was thinking only about my husband, to support him. But I was sure that they know who I was and they will never allow me to be registered. And it was a great surprise when they did. I'm sure that they did this just to laugh at me. They were sure that people will never vote for a woman, for unknown person, for housewife. We went around Belarus. I've never talked to such amount of people. I was afraid that I will forget all the words. I understood how dangerous in our country to run for presidency because you're like a bug in front of tractor.
Hundreds of opposition activists have reportedly been arrested. Among them, the president's main challengers.
I understood that I'm not ready to lead the country because I'm not an economist, I'm not a politician. So I promised that I will be president no more than half a year just to organize new elections. That's it.
Честные, абсолютно прозрачные выборы с теми кандидатами, которых на этом этапе не допустили.
During all this election campaign, I had a lot of moments when I wanted to step away because I was frightened.
У нас Конституция не под женщину.
I've got a telephone call from an unknown person who told me that if I continue to run this campaign, I will be jailed and my children will be put in orphanage. And the next city, it was Minsk. About 60,000 people came. And at that very moment, I understood that I can't step away.
Я больше не боюсь. Я иду до победы.
So many people just came to show that they are with me. They are tired to live under pressure. They don't want this dictator anymore. We had a lot of observers at every polling station, and we saw that the majority voted for me. Till the end, there was a tiny hope that they will count honestly, but it was so tiny that it just disappeared. Official result was 80% for Mr. Lukashenko and 10% for me. He stole all the people's voices. 100,000 of Belarusian people went out for peaceful demonstrations. Police just was going around and beat all of them. People were just beaten so hard. Thousands have been imprisoned, beaten and tortured.
А скажите, а почему жалуются людьми издевательства?
Издевательств никаких нет.
Я о факте переводе в медицинское учреждение задержан со слезанием пыток не знаю.
This footage was recorded by a Belarusian journalist who was beaten on the streets and then became a patient in this hospital in Minsk. The ward is full of so many different people with the exact same injuries and very similar stories.
Они уже нашли места, где мне больнее всего по ногам, то есть там уже сформировавшиеся синяки. Вот, и они по этим местам лупят. Все это продолжалось, наверное, на протяжении, по ощущениям, получаса.
Ползешь по телам, которые уже лежат в автозаке. Снизу стонут, кричат люди, которые не могут дышать. Многие не подают даже признаков жизни.
Через несколько ударов просто я кричал, я не знал, что у меня есть такие способности.
And some of these patients were not even protesters. One patient was just going to buy vinegar at his local shop. Even worse, some protesters said they were raped.
Он взял свою винную палку, надел на меня презерватив и засунул меня в задний проход.
This is what Lukashenko does to his own people. After the elections, I had to leave Belarus.
Belarusian opposition leader has been filmed speaking under duress.
Tsikhanouskaya was forced to flee the country.
At that moment, I had to think about family, about husband. I was ready to step away because it was difficult to accept this violence, so I really was ready to give up. Only Belarusian people didn't give me a chance to step away. I became like a symbol of freedom. I started to meet with the leaders of different countries.
Honorable members of the European Parliament.
It is very important that people around the world are talking about us.
We wish you all strength and persistence in the struggle for democracy.
Authorities were sure that such violence will calm down people, but vice versa happened. There are people of different professions, of different ages.
Пока вы меня не убьете, других выборов не будет.
Застрелись, офицер!
Old people usually is considered to be electorate of Mr. Lukashenko, but at last they understood. Even those people who were still apolitical. Workers who work in factories, they are usually apolitical. They started strikes. It's unbelievable for Belarus. I always considered myself to be a weak woman, but when my fate laughed at me, when it put me in such obstacles that I had to look for the strength, maybe this strength already was inside of me. The same as me, I'm sure every person has strength in himself or herself. They just didn't know they have this strength because we were so frightened by one person, but now they woke up. This revolution is not over. To the international community, we need new and fair elections. They can be run by the OSCE, and we need an investigation into the human rights abuses. To my people who have been on the streets for weeks, помните, только вместе мы сможем построить страну для жизни. Our revolution is not geopolitical. It's not a pro-Russian revolution, nor pro-European Union revolution. It is a democratic revolution. And I want my husband back.